Hello, my name is Uni, and welcome back to my Survival World series. And in the background there, you can see what we worked on last episode. I don't want to show you too much, so I'm going to pan away from it. If you want to find out, you can click the card up there in the upper right-hand corner to see that episode and what we built. But today, I have stuff to do here in my Hexagon city. Now, in previous episodes, we have made ourselves quite a few good-looking buildings over here, if I do say so myself. Not complete, though. There's not a lot of it actually fully finished, except for the front sides here. You can see we have a nice southwestern-styled, even Spanish-styled here, building in the center. We have a nice greenhouse area over here on the far right. And then off over here, in the far left, you can see we have a nice 3-story modern home. But on the back side here, nothing is really done because we have quite a few more buildings to go in this area. You can see there's a lot of barrenness going on, but that isn't going to be a problem over here with what we're building today. Because today we are starting work up on our academic district, which is going to be on this side of the hexagon right here. And this whole area is going to be filled out with quite a few buildings, more so than this one here, because I actually have drafted up already, I believe, 5 buildings so far. And let's see if I can land. Perfect this time. I'm usually horrible at that, but today I've been gifted with the elegance of a duck. I don't know. I'm not really good with analogies, but anyways, so we're going to start work on this today with a nice time lapse starting shortly here. But the idea is we're going to build some recreation buildings. We're going to build a nice cathedral right here in the middle. And then we're going to build some lecture halls off to the side with a really unique lore to them. So let's go ahead and get started on building with the first time lapse here, because we have a huge cathedral to build right in the center, butted up right up here with our elytra chute coming out of the middle of our hexagon city. Well, now, this is a lot grander than I imagined it would be. This thing is very big, and it also has a nice fit into this area. I like the centralization of it, and actually you can see the outline of all the buildings we're going to be building very soon here. In fact, let's go up into the sky so you can get a better picture of that. Let's check it out all the way from over here. Oh yeah, this is coming along very nicely. Now let's go ahead and perch ourselves. I might as well be a bird because I love putting myself up above things and checking it out. Let's go ahead and finish that golden carrot. I didn't even get all the way through it. So there we go. It's perfect. It looks great. There is one mistake I made, and I wish I had done something about it beforehand. But when I had built this thing in my test world, I wasn't using the honey blocks here. I was in fact using the yellow glazed terracotta. And that actually does fit a lot better. I thought I could go with the honey blocks. I thought maybe it would fit better here with the gold ore blocks. But you know what? I think I'm going to actually change up all this. So get rid of these, and we're going to put the, or not gold terracotta, but yellow terracotta. That would actually be cool, though, if they had a gold one. But for now, this entire place has completely used all my gold. I have none left. I have very little to spare. I even had to go down there to one of my beacons and mine away some of it and replace it with iron. But looking up here, you can see we have a lot of cool stuff going on. There's lighting and everything. There's little pieces I left behind that I need to go grab. And this thing has a nice gradual transition from a grayer tone to a lighter white tone near the top there. And you can see that from a far away distance. And one of the cool things about this that is kind of geologically accurate, I always love adding in my geology here. But the thing that really is cool about this is these little bands of stone actually are kind of representative of gold veins or quartz veins. And those typically are where you'll find gold in real life. is in hydrothermal veins where things can precipitate out onto the country rock surrounding it and also be left behind in tiny little deposits. Now, this is obviously very exaggerated, but the idea of these is that it was a quartz structure that was carved away and there were gold bands left behind. Kind of represents a bunch of hydrothermal veins where there is gold deposited, and it gives this really nice Greek sort of look, and I really like the design. I love the use of all the gold blocks here blended in with the andesite, and it really fits very well. So now it's time to add in the last little detail of this before we start up on the buildings off to the side here. This will be a combination of a recreation area, and then we'll have ourselves a lecture hall area, and it'll be on both wings of the I think this is a cathedral. It's either cathedral or some sort of, gathering structure. I don't know. But the last thing I need to do is bells. I have gathered up as many bells as I could. These things are actually very expensive. You either have to go to each individual neighboring village around you, or you can just trade with villagers, and that's kind of what I did for about half of these bells here. But now it's time to stick them up onto the middle of the roof there. So let's go ahead and just do ourselves a nice little transition where we stare down here, we do a nice little twist, and we look up, and we have a nice array of bells here. Now, I can't quite look down because there is some stuff to the sides of me that would spoil the time lapse we're about to watch here because lost some footage. So I'm just avoiding showing you what's to my left and my right now. But yes, the bells are up there, and I'm desperately trying to make sure you don't see it. But I would have a good pun about these bells, but it doesn't really have a good ring to it, And sorry, I know that it'll take a toll on you if I keep saying, oh, whoops. Well, okay, let's just get to the time lapse, shall we? I think it's time I stop trying to do puns and we start trying to build stuff. All right, and now I can actually show you what we've got here. Look at all this cool stuff that we just got going. Now, there is one problem, and I feel like this right here is being squished a little too much, so I'm going to have to adjust a few things, maybe cut back those buildings, maybe do a little extra stuff here. But we've got our academic buildings all in place. These right here are our recreation buildings, which we will be decorating in just a moment here. We've got to make a staircase going up to here. We've got to have some sort of centralized fountain. I have plans for that over here as well. But then over here, if we go back, I can go ahead and show you the bells now properly without having to try to, hide it away. But this is what I was trying to avoid showing you before the time lapse. It was very obvious that I had lost footage, done my builds, and then realized that I didn't have the bell footage. And, I just wanted to mention also, these are actually really expensive. These things right here take a lot of emeralds to get, and if you're not just raiding villages left and right, then this stuff is very hard to get. But I have 12 bells, and that is enough for a nice little array up there. Don't worry, I won't make more puns. But now we have to go down here because I want to start work on the final bit here with the academic district, and that is making sure this area looks nice and then maybe even almost like 90% done. There'll only be a little bit left after this, but for now, let's go ahead and do, oh man, I'm go-aheading too much here, but let's just stare directly forward here. We have a nice brand new pool over here in our first recreational building. Now let's go ahead and go over what this is and how it's made here. We have a nice little set of lane lines for people to swim laps, and these are just made out of the lightning rods that you would use just sideways. And then we have some nice pool lights. We have a deep end over here that's very deep. This is 15 meters deep. It's pretty deep there. You would definitely pop your ears after going halfway down. Over here we have a nice backboard for saving people, a lifeguard chair, another lifeguard chair, and the coup de grace, we have ourselves a, okay, let me think about this. 26 meter, 30 meter, or no, 24 meter, 30 meter, and 36 meter high dives. Now these are not to scale, really. I'm just going off of based on the block dimensions in the metric system here. If this was Imperial, oh my God. Ow, okay. I also forgot. The lane lights can't be in when you're jumping. That's important. You got to take those out before you jump. But yeah, Imperial measurements, this one right here, the highest one, 36 meters, this is almost 100 feet. This is insane. But it only looks like 25 feet in the game here. But, you know, perspective and scale, they're not quite really, you know, what we're going for here. We're just going for the looks, and this thing is definitely scaled down. So for our purposes, this is 24 feet, 30 feet, and 36 feet. We'll just say that. That sounds a lot better. Now, of course, we have another building to do, our second recreational building. And this time we are once again doing another transition. So let's stand right here and then go 3, 2, 1. And we now have ourselves a basketball court to play a little bit of ball on. And here we have all the features. We got the middle section. We have the three-pointer line, the free shot box. We have ourselves all the backboards with the hoops. These are the practice ones on the sides, and the main ones right here with even a little track they can slide back onto in case you want to push it out of the way. And then, of course, we have ourselves an upstairs area, which I will get to in a second. We don't quite have an official way to get up there yet, but I'm just using scaffolding for now. And unfortunately, all these bamboo planks don't actually go lengthwise like they would in a real court. They only place east and west when you place them down. So the orientation of those isn't quite accurate, but it's good enough. So now we are up on the second story, and this here is our upstairs track. And this thing is pretty nice. You have these little balconies you can actually walk out onto in case you want to catch some fresh air and move out of the way of all the runners. But this thing is just a 3-lane track that you can run around on and make 4 laps, you make a mile, stuff like that. I don't know. Measurements have been kind of weird this episode, as we've seen over here in our pool. But now that we have the pool and we have the track and basketball court, it's time to finally link them all up with a central area. So we're going to go ahead and do one more transition here, starting from this spot. And we're going to go make this happen right now. This right here, yeah, this is a central area for sure. I'm loving the designs that we've got going on. This right here is a little seat area. There's some shallow pools you can walk into. And then we have the staircase up into the Coliseum. What do you call this thing? I always forget. It's like a huge sort of centralized area. By the way, this gold, it took away all my golden carrots. I have no more gold left. I need to make a gold farm because right now I'm surviving off baked potatoes, and that's too much starch for my little belly. And as well, you can see that my inventory is completely in shambles. And of course, right here, my Silk Touch pickaxe, which I was using to modify these buildings in the back there. Not these ones, the ones behind them. You'll see in a second what I did, but I had to make sure all the glass panes were used up and not wasted. But I wanted to make these seats in a particular way. If I can just show you right now, I kind of wanted them to look like this, where you just had it like that, and then they were sunken only down by that much, you know. That was about the level I wanted them at, but unfortunately that didn't work out with the entrances to these halls. Maybe I'll change it in the future, but for now it needs to be this way because that's how the water can stay at that level there. Although I wish one day we could put these trapdoors down on top of slabs instead of having to be full blocks. But, you know, you can't always get what you want, you know? And one thing I didn't really get quite that I wanted was this to look too uncluttered, but I've compromised. I've made it work. We have ourselves now a bit of a, you know, indentation on these buildings. Instead of them being perfectly square, I've got these little corner pieces going on. You can see the indent right there. And even over here on this side, you can see I have a little entrance right on the back side. And I was hoping that this would help out, specifically the corners, with seeing around this central Colosseum. Still don't know what it's called. I can't be bothered to actually look up, but this is the other side here. And I did mention in the beginning of the episode that these two buildings in the back had a little bit of lore to them. Well, this little campus here in the academic area had kind of an experiment going on. They decided to build the exact same building, but 20, 40-ish years apart. And so that's why this one is all weathered and gray and looks like it's been out in the rain for decades. And this one's brand new. And so the idea of this one being brand new is that you can see the contrast between the old and new and what the elements of the outdoors can actually do to buildings over time. So it's kind of like an experimental academic thing going on with the actual campus here. But I believe this is finally where I leave you all off because I think we are done with this project. We had a lot going on. In fact, before I ended off, I want to go ahead and take you on one last tour. Even though we've looked at it, we got the pool right here. We've got the basketball court. We still don't actually have a way to get up to the track, but I'm going to design something in the future. Maybe a little like staircase or something. Who knows? Maybe an entrance right there. But this is pretty much it. And I want to thank you all for watching today because I am really appreciating it. I'm appreciating it. Oh man, my words are tumbling and rumbling. But thank you all for watching. Like the video if you liked it. And happy holidays, by the way. These videos are probably only going to be coming out once a month for the next couple months, I suppose, since it is the holiday season. And I want everyone to enjoy their time with friends and family rather than, you know, trying to keep up with these videos because you can pretty much easily keep up with them. That's okay. I'm rambling. Goodbye. See ya. I'm jogging it out. My name is Uni, and I will see you guys next time.